Hey, what's going on? So this will be the intro to Dungeon Crawl Classics, part the third. In this section, we're going to talk about the skills in the game, the gear in the game. There's a couple of just instances which I think need to be addressed, and combat. And that'll be the last topic for this video, and then the last one will be magic and miscellaneous. So skills, they went out of their way with this. I mean, I don't know what the research department did to get the skill section like it did. It is completely amazing. There is virtually nothing that you can think of in an RPG that you could do that is not covered by this section. It is 2 fucking pages long. That's it. There are no skills in the game. Not a one. There are 4 DCs and their examples, 5, 10, 15, 20, and kind of says, here's what would you expect to find at these levels. What there's suggestions on here. Here's common knowledge. There are things that you shouldn't do a check for. There are times when you should do a check. Here's how it should work. It's your imagination. It's up to you what your characters know. It's your game. It's your table. It's your background. My trapper, 0-level trapper, he could track. Do you know why? Because he's a trapper. That's what he does. His whole life is about getting to and fro regarding woodlands and creatures and all that stuff. Now, does he kneel down and, lick the fucking ground like Aragorn does and be like, oh my god, one of them had to take a piss? No. That's ridiculous in the first place. No, but direction, age of a print, that's pretty simple common knowledge for someone who spends their life out in the wilderness trapping and tracking animals. So that's kind of where it is, right? You don't need Mama Paizo or Daddy Watsy to tell you what you can and can't do. Use your imagination. Look at your characters, look at their occupations, look at their current character classes, and that will give you an idea of things that will be rote, things that will be easy, things that are doable, and then woo damn, we might need a roll on that. Gear. So for the weapons section, the one point I really wanted to address in the weapons is that, they're standard weapons you find in fantasy, right? They do a variety of damage. But when you look at their certain weapons, right, so if in your head you're used to playing these games, you kind of understand how much damage a dagger, a garrote, a blowgun, and a blackjack do. In this game, in the hands of a thief who has successfully caught an opponent unawares, i.e. you're going to backstab them, that dagger goes from a D4 to a D10. And the other weapons are just as similar to that. These weapons are lethal in the hands of a thief who is backstabbing. There is no substitute. There's no more looking at it and be like, my thief's going to carry a longsword. Why? Because I'm going to backstab it. You ever seen the video of the gamers? There's a scene where the thief is like, I pull my sword. You're like, you're going to stab him with a sword? I have backstab. And then he walks away and he brings back a goddamn ballista. Right? Because that's the joke, right? Is that shitty little damage. Not in this game. The damage is just increased remarkably when you put these smaller weapons in the hands of a true professional who can get the job done. So bravo to them. The armor side of things, it's an ascending armor class. There are check penalties to the armor. Of course, magic armor and mithril armor and all that jazz can half a penalty or take away some of the penalties. You got to adjudicate that. There's a speed penalty to how fast and how far you can move if you're going to use the squares and the dolls on the table. But the fumble is where it becomes important. In combat, there are fumbles. A natural one is a fumble. But the chart goes from, 0 to whatever. And the heavier your armor is, the bulkier your armor is, I should say, is that increases the fumble die you roll. Right? So if you're unarmored, you're going to roll a D6. But if you're in plate, you're going to probably roll a D12. Okay? It's realistic, not realistic, doesn't matter. Watch the armor videos of those guys fighting. Yeah, I get it. Knights weren't these big, bulky, walking, robot-looking dickheads, and they could do backflips. We all get it, but it's because of the fucking armor class and that useless shit that it is, that it's non-ablative and how it was done originally. We're not going to get away from these false myths, not in a D&D-oriented game system. So just move past it and accept that if you wear heavy armor, your ass is going to have a higher fumble chance. Or not a chance, but a higher fumble result. Combat. That's it for the gear. Combat initiative is done on a D20 unless you're using a two-handed weapon. If you're using a two-handed weapon, you're going to use a D16, right? Because that represents you got a little bit more momentum. You got to kind of get in there and find the right spot and not leave yourself completely open if you're going to swing it like a madman or you want to do some serious damage. Again, yeah, reality tells us one thing. Doesn't matter. Could you change it? Yeah, you could change it. You could just penalize the whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter. It's like anything in the game. You can take it out. But that's how it works. D20 for most people. 200 weapons use a D16. Actions to your attack, spellcasting, whatever. Use a certain die type that's listed on your character as you go up a level. Your actions is going to be a D20 at start. And then that die can increase and it can also decrease based on different parameters. If you're a warrior, you're going to move to the D24 for your attack dice. Fairly rapidly, spellcasters can gain a D24. They can gain a D16 for spells. It just depends on how you've gone about your character and playing it out. Fumbles, again, it's a natural one. There's a table. On the table, though, like I said, it goes from 0 to high, right? Say 0 to 30, doesn't matter. Your luck bonus is reversed for this table to reduce the fumble result. So if you're of +3 to your luck, good on you. That's an awesome roll. You would reduce your fumble check by 3, right, to bring it back down to not killing you or anyone around you. You're not going to kill yourself. They're not that harsh. Now, warriors and dwarves also have the ability, if they roll a fumble, a natural one, they can actually burn a point of luck and negate that. They just say it's not going to happen. I recover. Criticals on a natural 20, sometimes another die. We already saw where halflings, if they're fighting with 2 weapons, they get the D16, right? So natural 16 is considered a critical for them. So how the criticals differ is there's charts, yes, a little bit like Rollmaster. Not that ridiculous, but there's charts. The charts are divided up into 0 level wizards, thieves and elves, clerics, halflings, 1st and 2nd level warriors, and 1st and 3rd level dwarves. Those 4 use one table, right? 3 to 4th level warriors and 4th level plus dwarves use another table. And then level 5 and above warriors use their own separate table. And again, that's where the warriors start to shine. They're going to go through opponents like nobody's business, especially when they start rolling criticals. Mighty Deed of Arms, we talked about it before with the warrior, and so some of the examples they give of things you could try, just a broad categories would be blind somebody, push them back, throw them, trip them, disarm them, feats of archery like precision archery, and the coolest one, right, is the rally cry, where you don't even, it's basically a social use inside the combat environment, where the warrior is perking his allies up and giving them bonuses and letting them do things. Very cool stuff. So I told you how to give you some examples. Sorry, that was pretty close. So some of the things they talked about is, let's see, when fighting opponents on a staircase, the character used a sword to stab an opponent and then lever him over the edge of the staircase. Later, the same character tried attacking the foe's legs to knock him over the edge. Right, so that's a small example. You're doing those sweeps and throws. When fighting a flying skull that was out of melee reach, a character leaped from the back of an ally into a flying lunge that brought him within reach of a melee swing at the skull. Yeah, so crazy stuff. Just whatever you can think with the moment, go with it. You're a warrior or a dwarf. That's where you shine. You should be doing that. You should be shining every combat. If you're a warrior or dwarf in this game and you're just, I hit, I miss, I hit, I miss, yeah, I stab him. Well, oh man. Ooh, read that section on Mighty Deeds and get inspired. Read some books. Appendix N. Get inspired. Death is at 0 hit points. You do have a bleed out period. You can bleed out 1 round per your level. Sorry. So you've got a very small amount of time where the cleric can get to you and lay on hands, and hopefully you and the cleric don't differ too much in alignment. See how that plays out, role-playing wise. The last section are spell duels. Spell duels is a section that really, it's one of those ones that you need to see for yourself because it covers a lot of pages. There's a lot to it. It's not complicated, but it is dangerous for everyone around 2 wizards dueling, or 2 clerics dueling, or 2 elves dueling, anyone dueling, right? Everyone who can cast spells can duel, including thieves using a scroll. Yes, if a thief had some kind of fire resistant scroll, and there was a wizard casting a fire spell, he could easily just break that out and go declare a spell duel. and it can happen. So basically, it's basically an attack roll. It's opposing rolls, right? So the attacker and the defender roll, and you compare rolls in these charts, and it tells you, okay, well, here's what the attacker rolled, here's the defender rolled, and what happens. Now, if you get a tie, it is called the phlogiston disturbance, right? So phlogiston is from the Greek, which means to burn up. And it does not literally burn up in the game, but something happens. Like there's one result where you can actually rip a hole in the space-time barrier, and the round you just did is repeated 7 times, but with different results. Pretty crazy. Yeah, it starts to be like, whoa, crap. Magic is very powerful in this game if you haven't gotten that yet. And we'll talk more about that when we actually get to the magic section on the spells and whatnot. So that's pretty much it for that. It's like I said, it can be a very lethal system. Yes, true. It's not a system out there designed to just murder characters left and right. That's a misconception. I think people need to get out of their heads and move forward. This is a pretty short video. Going to keep it that way on purpose. And next is going to be the magic and the miscellany. Thanks.